Got him. Oh.
Okay, guys, we are live. So for those listening at home, welcome to the Dungeon Musings YouTube channel. My name is Kevin Madison, and I will be your friendly dungeon master this evening. Tonight, we're continuing on with our ongoing campaign, playing Paizo Publishing's very cool Pathfinder 2nd Edition, and we are playing this in the setting put out in Greg Gillespie's very cool Barrowmaze Complete setting. I just said setting twice in the same sentence. With me tonight are the stars of the Barrowmaze campaign. I'll go in the order I've got you guys on the screen here. Tell us who you are and who you're playing, because we have some changes in casting today. So first up is Chad.
Hey everybody, I'm Chad. I normally play Roan Scarshorse, but tonight I am trying out Morn Mac-Kor, a human fighter sellsword.
Nice. And next up is Dave.
Hey everybody, I am playing a new character named Elenil, who was going to be a female dual wielder, but I'm now going to change her to a male giant weapon character. I don't know, fighter.
Okay.
Going
And next up is John.
Hey everybody, I'm John. I'm playing Zuko Flamebearer, your friendly neighborhood fire-wielding goblin. He's going to try to not die today.
That's always a good strategy in the Barrowmaze. And next up is George.
Hey, I'm George. I'm playing Bargo the Infamous, who's a human wizard. Last week I played Raven, who was hunting down Bargo, and it turns out that maybe other people are too.
Wasn't it Bingle?
Sorry, yes, Bingle the Famous.
Yes. And last but not least is Carl.
Hello, I'm Carl. I'm playing Buka Duskwort, who is a halfling alchemist. And I guess Jonathan didn't do it, but today I will. My wife made me a mule out of this 36 white dog moonshine from Ranger Creek here in San Antonio.
Nice. Pretty good.
Dave,
Dave, what is your beverage of choice this evening?
water.
Oh yeah, me too. Water.
Nice.
Yeah, I guess we're boring then.
Yeah, exactly. Well, you know, Jeff is on vacation today. Oh no, Jeff actually has his D&D group tonight, and then he goes on vacation on the weekend. So that is why we're absent our usual, drink connoisseur. So Carl, we appreciate you filling in for that. Now, tonight's the last couple of sessions, we have been checking in on our heroes in the town of Helix, but this evening we're going to transfer over and check in on our characters in Ironguard Mott, who were left, so we're going back kind of like a day, and those are George and John and Carl's regular characters, Zuko, Bargle, and Buka, and we're meeting two new characters as well, too. So, one thing we started doing last week, too, for Wick and for Dave, let's see here, we were using, let's see here, Steven Gradzicki's, Steven, forgive me if I'm butchering your name, very awesome, Low Fantasy Gaming came out. Now, Low Fantasy Gaming is an RPG in and of itself, but it also has a shit ton of really awesome sandbox material in it, including a bunch of cool random tables and a fucking incredible tavern fight table that we used in our Galantrine session. John, you're not laughing. John's character got royally fucked over by that table. Like,
I am still traumatized. But it was fun.
yeah, it really gave it a good, good flavor. But one of the tables we used in our last Barrowmaze session was actually the Bonds character, or Bonds table. So what I thought we would do is take advantage of that to add some random backstory to your characters, to Elenil and to Morn Mac-Kor. So let's do this here. Let's see. First, Morn, why don't you give me a D20 roll? Let's see what this comes out at.
All right.
5.
That's instant death, right?
Oh, yeah. Exactly.
Well, not travelers. Not
Blizzard. It's one of my random encounter tables. Always Blizzard.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay, so what you were guards or militia patrolling another city when some violent riots broke out. So, and Eleanor, this actually makes sense. If you guys are both fighters, it makes sense that you guys would have served together in some different point. So, knowing that you guys were there as... What is Eleanor's background?
Actually, might be a little different than you were expecting. Eleanor's background is prisoner.
Okay, no, that actually... Okay, that doesn't mean he wasn't...
Prison.
Is it he or she now?
Usurter.
I'll stay with a she.
A she? Okay. So, I mean, she and Morn might have been colleagues, might have been guards when those riots broke out, and then she just may have ended up in prison, and maybe Morn broke her out to get her here. What was your reasoning for Morn coming here, Wick?
Well, I was going to say he was part of a mercenary band, and his only job was to guard the wizard, but then the wizard betrayed them. And so he had heard from a former colleague that there was a lot of wealth to be found here. When he got to Ironguard Mott, the people he was supposed to meet and the adventuring party he was supposed to join, they're all dead.
Yeah,
So
okay.
now he's here in winter and rapidly running out of coin.
Okay,
And in
okay.
a place with no treacherous wizards, so that worked out perfectly.
Nice. Okay, so then, Eleanor, I mean, if you guys were part of we can build that into that guard thing. That wizard could have been like, you may have been like, like the PCs have some guard and they're just some low level flunky who you guys usually steamroll. Maybe you were the flunky and the wizard steamrolled you, and you managed to avoid prison, but Eleanor got herself in prison, and that wizard is the reason behind the riots. That work?
Works for me.
Okay. So what do you think you were in prison? Do you think it's something you did or something you didn't do?
She wouldn't break an oath, so she had sworn allegiance to somebody, and she wouldn't like trade in any information or turn anybody over. Maybe we didn't turn over Morn.
Yep.
And because of that, they threw her in the slammer.
Morn, was it your fault that this wizard got out or not?
Yeah, I don't know if it would be. Maybe he was charmed or whatever, right? And,
Yeah.
You can go with that.
Okay. So was he? Well, if he was charmed, that's not his fault then.
Right.
But if he was like, look, he's fucking in there. I can go for a beer. That's that's definitely his fault then.
Well, yeah.
What do you think? His fault or not?
Yeah, we can make it his fault.
Okay. And I don't want. I mean, it doesn't.
Not to go back to that. Good reason not to go back to that city.
Yes. So for whatever reason, maybe like when they came for you guys, you hid, and Eleanor didn't. So Eleanor was taken into custody instead, and then you, I guess, broke her, or yeah, it's her. So broke her out, and now you guys are here. You thought, okay, this is a way I can go somewhere, and I'm far away and make some money. And then when you got here, they were all dead.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. And let's see here. Let's go with an inciting event here. There we go. While I'm looking for this table, why don't Zuko or Bargo or Buka tell us what happened last session with these characters?
I can do that, and if you guys want to jump in if I miss anything. So just to put it in perspective, the greater context is that there's something going on in the Barrow Moor that involves the Barrowmaze that is problematic, more problematic than usual, which led us to discover that there were these froglings and something was going on with them in their breeding grounds. And so we decided that there's someone called the Mother of Toes that we might want to talk to. But that's a couple of days' journey away, and in between is Ironguard Mott. And so we decided that we should go there first, stay overnight, and try to talk to the Seneschal. Runa, yes, who works for the Ironguard family, and she might know something about the froglings. And we also might tell the Duke that the undead are hunting this close to Helix and the environs, which might piss off Kel Ironguard. his son, who's technically supposed to be on top of these things, but in fact, instead, he is hanging out at the Black Dragon Inn here in Ironguard Mott. So the three of us decided that we would leave Helix and make the journey. So we bought some ponies and horses and headed out. The ride there was uneventful. In fact, we took on a little bit of a job, which was to deliver some packages for Turgon, Billworth Turgon, which we then delivered to Bandrick Silverstone. We wound up staying at the Bloated Halfling Inn. And so as we were sort of getting to know our way around Ironguard Mott, which none of us have ever been to before, we heard, or Bargo was aware that there's some shadow hands who kind of make this place their home. And in particular, there's one place where they like to hang out, which happens to be the Black Dragon. Okay. And so while we were staying at the Bloated Halfling, we cut away. So unbeknownst to our characters, we saw a tall and a short figure across the street from the Bloated Halfling, and one of them said to the other, "You got good eyes. How much did Alzo, I think, say he'd pay for him? Alive will be trickier. Enjoy your meal, Bargle. It'll be your last." And that was our cliffhanger from last time.
All right, so you guys, we'll pick up with the scene of Zuko, Bargle, and Buka in the common room for the Bloated Halfling. And you may remember that the Bloated Halfling is a tavern that is run by the eponymous Bloated Halfling, who is this kind of tubby guy named, where is it here? Hammock Hard Cheese. And Hammock himself is, this enormously fat halfling, and he kind of he's remarkably nimble for a halfling of his girth, but he is, you're not sure, Buka in particular, you're not sure you've seen a halfling that big before. But one of the things that really makes this place stand out is the fact that built into the ground itself and going into the foundation are some actual halfling holes. So there are quarters that are halfling-sized or goblin-sized that are built as actual, halfling holes or hidden holes. And I think that in the in the area as well, or in the area in the tavern, are likely Morn and Elenil. So how long do you think you guys have been here, Morn and Elenil? Like, have you been here a week or so? But have you been here?
Probably a week. Like, if we're trying to we were hoping to get into the Barrowmoor, and then we would get here and realize that we can't do that. There's no point in going on to Helix. So
yeah. Okay.
Weather turned.
Yeah, and I mean it's a couple months into winter right now too, so it's about the middle of winter. So this is really, you guys happen to have arrived around the worst time to get here, and there's just not much work in terms of heading out. And I guess from the fact that you guys stuck around here rather than hiring on for some caravan that's outbound, that you guys are intent on heading on to the Barrowmaze itself. I think that, let's see here. So first off, why don't you guys give us a description of what Morn and Elenil look like? What do we see sitting at a table together?
all right. Well, Morn is tall, broad-shouldered, fighting man with black hair, gray eyes. He's got a scar across his nose and one over his lip. He's wearing a breastplate, and all the greaves and vambraces and various other plates are kind of mismatched. Like, they look like they come from a bunch of different armors. Otherwise, very well cared for. And he's got a bastard sword and a baldric on his back.
Okay. Awesome. And what about Elenil?
Elenil wears scale mail and has a maul resting on the ground, but hammer on the hammerhead sitting on the ground, and she's got kind of grayish blonde hair. It's not quite platinum blonde. It's a little more gray to it, which is odd for an elf because they're such long lived.
Yeah.
And she is not the chipperest bunch in the group. She's a little more melancholy, we'll say.
Okay. It's not. Wasn't Kel? You're right that someone stiffed Badonk. That was Krothos. Krothos
Okay.
Ironguard is the son. And yes, you're absolutely right. Krothos is he's the shit who would not
We'll get
pay.
him.
Yeah. So I guess you guys are sitting around and trying to, maybe figure out what your next step is. And what you see coming into the inn is a little halfling. There's quite a few halflings in here as it is, but there's a halfling. There is a goblin, and then there is a wizard as well too. And you can tell from the long robes and whatever. Does Bargle look like he does in his illustration?
I can't remember what his illustration looks like. I don't see his icon. He's not that cool looking. That guy looks fancy, like the bedraggled version of that. Like a guy who's like, the robes that may have looked like that once are all, kind of worn and dirty.
Yeah.
And his hair is sort of unkempt and a little wild. He maybe a year ago, maybe he might have looked like that, but not anymore. Looks pretty bedraggled.
Okay. The hard life of a wizard on the run.
Exactly.
Okay. So you guys make your way in, and you can see that suddenly someone attacks. You're wasting those nat 20s.
That's nice.
I had an extra one in my D12, so it was a D112.
Say 88 bludgeoning.
First
Nice.
thing kills the dragon.
That's pretty impressive.
Oh, man.
Whole character.
Jeez. So you guys, you head in, and the Zuko, Bargle, and Buko, I think we left with you guys actually, checking into here. You had met with Bandrick Ironstone.
Yeah.
And he had left, he had given you the recommendations of different places to go. Bargle was intentionally avoiding going to the Black Dragon. And, so, and what was your plan in coming here, too? Were you...
I think, you guys tell me if I'm wrong, we were just coming here to kind of find our base of operations before we headed out to check out, right?
Go south, right?
Yeah.
But we wanted to report to the Duke.
Yeah.
Right, exactly. We were basically going to, find a place to stay, and then we were going to go talk to the Duke, and then we would sleep overnight and head to Bogtown tomorrow. Yeah.
We figured out that bypassing the sun was not a good idea if he found out, so I think we're trying to do that.
Yeah.
We did find that out. Bargle is still resistant to going to talk to Kel.
Okay. So you guys head into the bloated halfling, and you you find the place. Like I said, it's about entry gets entered as an item bonus.
An item bonus, but there's no actual place to put it, like the weapons.
Weapons are on the bottom left of the character sheet.
Yeah, I put the weapon in. Okay.
Yeah.
Sorry.
Yeah, there's not its own area.
It's under the AC part.
I'll just put a note in there. Scale mail.
Oh, no.
Like Carl said, in inventory you can add stuff like that.
Yeah. Okay. So the I think that there is the place is about 3/4 full by this time of day. This seems like a fairly popular place. There's the smell of food. There's the sound of there's a halfling kind of minstrels playing in the corner of the place. and you're free to sort of take a seat wherever you like. And what do you guys want to do? What happens
Buka
next?
definitely breathes a sigh of relief and says, "I am so glad this doesn't mean a dead halfling floating face down in the water."
That's right.
Very true.
And he's
Yeah.
like, "You're obsessed with dead halflings. Stop being obsessed with dead halflings."
Well,
The next time,
yeah, I know. I don't want to be a dead halfling.
So you hear this boisterous, loud voice coming from somewhere across the room, and it's of course the roundest-looking halfling that you've ever seen, and it's Hammock Hard Cheese, who just cries out, "Take a seat wherever, go where you want."
Hugo says a little bit too loudly, "I know why it's called the bloated halfling now."
He kind of looks at you like, hits his belly. He says, "Just means the food's good here. Take a seat where you like."
Rub my belly.
And you can hear there's sort of like a laughing. All the staff is kind of laughing at him as they go along too. And he, heads behind. He walks over and kind of is checking on people as he goes. If you think of you think that he's either extremely personable or he might be a little slow, because he's stopping and chatting with pretty much everyone as he goes through. So you guys, find a seat. You get yourself sat down. Drinks are brought to you. Food is brought to you if you so desire. And you have a chance to kind of think about what your plan is here.
And also, Bargle is just looking around and making sure no one is like particularly watching him, which is what happened to him back in Helix before they left. And so he's now a little bit paranoid.
Bless you, Carl.
So he's gonna seek.
Okay. Go ahead and give me
If you're obviously a wizard, then Morn is probably watching you.
Yeah.
That's appropriate. Yeah.
Fool me once. Go ahead and give me a perception check here, Bargle.
Okay, here we go.
Actually, yeah.
Oh, I critted it.
Nat 20.
Yeah.
Okay, so let's back up for a moment here. And so Morn and Elenil, what's going on in your heads right now? Like, do you have any schemes in mind of how to make some money, or you've heard horrible stories about people being dragged. Oh, you know what? Hold on, we got two new Barrowmaze characters. Why don't you each give me a D20 roll, please? We have some new rumors.
Rumors.
Love me some rumors.
Yeah.
Ooh, things are not looking good for my rolls with the.
Or you're getting him out of the way.
Yeah.
Yeah, I hope so.
So here's the information you guys have heard. Elenil, what you've heard is that the spirits, if you go into the Barrowmoor, if you go into the Barrow Mounds or the Barrowmaze itself, you have heard that the spirits of the dead will not harm you if you leave an offering at each barrow.
Lies.
And then for Morn, what you've heard is that all entrances to the Barrowmaze are trapped.
Probably not lies.
And to keep in with keeping sort of the lethality of the game, this is the illustration that's at the bottom of the table for rumors.
That's awesome.
Dead adventurer. Oh, love it. Okay, so then that's what you guys have as your your back of your mind as being fledgling adventurers. I think that let's do this. Why don't you each give me a society check, please? Let's see how you do on that.
Well,
Nice. Nice. Okay. So, Elenil, what you've heard is that going back 2 seasons, there is this. It's sort of like an unofficial mascot, but you've heard about the Lucky Goblin. There's apparently a goblin in Helix, and one of the only ones that's there. This Lucky Goblin who, every time he goes to the Barrowmoor, then he comes back with some riches. Like he's a genius, treasure seeker, or whether it's just that the gods favor him. He has seen nothing but good fortune, which has driven more and more people to be thinking about how easy it is to get the riches out there. You've also heard that the Lucky Goblin, I think with a roll that well, or that good, the Lucky Goblin travels with a wizard and with a halfling. So you guys are sitting there nursing your beer. What do you think you guys are talking about? You've been here for about a week, it sounds, right?
Mm-hmm.
So what have you guys been doing with your time? You know?
Well, probably just drinking and trying to figure out how we're gonna get enough coin to like keep us in booze through the winter, because we want to get to the Barrowmaze.
Yeah.
And we can't really do that yet.
Okay. So you've heard that there may be an opportunity with the Silver Springs,
Silver
Standard Merchant Caravan company. They sell. They have things that move throughout the Duchy of Eric. So you might be able to hire on there. Just that, you know, not today. Go away. And there's been this guy that you went to see about that. His name is Bandrick Ironstone. And the way I've been describing him is imagine a slightly more, you know, muscular Vinnie Jones. And that's, what do you call it? He's like, no, come back another time. You know, there was nothing really on offer just yet. There is in town as well you've heard there's another bar called the Black Dragon. What are your different lores in, guys? Yours is
I have warfare.
Yeah, and what's yours, Eleanor?
Oops.
Oops lore? I don't know what that is.
Probably underworld if you're a criminal.
Yeah, I think probably.
Chris,
yes.
probably Underworld.
Yeah, I can tell you that for sure.
I think that sounds right. Backgrounds.
Yeah, criminal is definitely underworld.
Oh, he's a prisoner.
Oh, he's a prisoner. Sorry.
Yeah.
Sorry.
It is underworld lore, though.
I have Underworld.
Yeah. So go ahead. So that'll be, let's see here, your intelligence bonus plus 1 plus 2. So 3 plus your intelligence modifier. That's what your underworld lore check is. Why don't you give me a check with that, please? See how much you know about the layout of this place.
So it's intelligence, trained.
Trained, yeah. And then just go ahead and give us a roll. Nice. Okay. So the what you are aware of is that there is another tavern in here, a place called the Black Dragon, but it is effectively the local headquarters for a thieves guild that seems to infest this place called the Shadowhands. And I think that for whatever reason you've decided not to go there, whether that's Eleanor's decision to not go there or Morn's decision. Did you guys select your alignments?
Yeah, I think I just went with chaotic good.
Okay. How about you, Eleanor?
It's a special brand of lawful neutral.
Okay.
I have my code, and that's what's important. And then there's the societal laws and stuff, which are less important. So.
Okay. So would that have conflicted with you working with the Thieves Guild? The personal code?
Depends on the Thieves Guild.
Well, these guys are murderers and, you know, ambushers, you've heard, so...
Yeah, that doesn't sound like it would work for Morn and I.
Okay.
We'll do jobs and we'll get rid of stuff and move materials, but...
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
Or maybe you haven't... Yeah, so for whatever reason, I guess you haven't pursued that yet, and that's what means you're staying here for. But what you do see, you know, walking in is if you guys were intent on making your way to the to Helix and then perhaps exploring the Barrowmaze, well, Jesus, it appears to be the Lucky Goblin and maybe his wizard and his halfling companion who just walked in here. And they're sitting at a table right now that's actually accommodates 6. So they've sat themselves down and they're, you know, kind of they're getting themselves settled in and leaning in to talk a little bit. They have the look of them of you know, seasoned adventurers too.
Why don't we?
So Eleanor, well, let's pick up. Morna, unfortunately, you didn't recognize him, but Eleanor did.
Hey, Morn, remember that story about the Lucky Goblin?
Yeah.
the halfling, the table over there.
All right.
I think this could be our end into the Barrowmaze.
Let's get him some drinks and introduce ourselves.
I like it. Let's do that.
Okay. So, Bargle, when you had that crit roll, you looked you got down and there's that paranoid, beady-eyed look of you looking around the whole table, and you can see there's this elven woman and there's this man who are kind of like talking to each other and mentioning back and forth. They kind of nod and they get up. And then, were you guys planning on going to the bar and getting drinks? Or you're just going to go sit down and then order drinks for the?
I think you're going to show up with drinks.
Okay.
I feel. Are you asking us?
No. This is Morn and Elenil. So, Buka, Bargle, and Zuko. No, you guys have just been instructed to go ahead and have a seat. But Bargle, you see that these two have been watching you. They get up and they are making their way over towards the bar, and they seem to be
look for all possible exits.
So there's an exit. Looks like there's a way out through the back, through the
perfect.
kitchen, and then there's the front door as well.
Zuko looks up and squints his eyes. You're jumpy today.
What? Oh no, I'm fine.
Is there, Arnold, my friend? Is there a problem?
I don't. Well, I see two, and I'm like trying to nod. Like they're people, those two
Right.
kind of. You see those? Look at them. They've been watching us.
Okay,
Like
so
I think mostly they've been watching you, Buka.
really?
Maybe they like halflings.
It's possible. I don't know.
I don't know. So I'm gonna like get my hand crossbow ready and put some of my centipede poison and kind of put it under the table. If these people approach, just in case.
Please roll a 1. Please roll a 1.
Oh my god! And it's Bargle under the table.
No.
Paralyzes himself is like catatonic for the conversation.
I don't know. Do you have to? I didn't know if you had to roll for that. But
No. I'm not going to make it until you actually do something that requires it. Oh, you know what? If you're going to make it so it's
5 poison.
concealed, then yeah, give me a stealth check.
Okay.
Let's get some dice
You
rolling
can
here.
do it.
Yeah.
But if you can, it's gonna be hilarious.
Stealth. Stealth is, I think, pretty good for me.
Yeah.
Pretty good.
All right. What is Elenil and Morn's perception?
They're past perception.
Well, there's no such thing as passive, but what there is in Pathfinder 2, remember that one of the ways that you test against other characters is you roll against a DC that is 10 plus whatever their stat is. So it's very much the same kind of mechanic you use to calculate passive insight, passive perception, is the same thing in this, just they extend it to everything.
Oh.
6, okay, so 16. So actually, that's good. Buka, you've concealed it from Elenil, and Morn, I think yours is a +5, isn't it? Yeah, okay. So you've got it concealed from them. Morn and Elenil, you get your drinks from the bar, and you turn and start heading over. Bargle, they're heading your way.
So, hey, Zuko, who's got the staff of fire right
They
now?
pass
You or me?
one table, crossing
has it.
towards you. Their eyes locked with yours. You can't look away.
Yeah. Well, so Zuko, do I have it or you have that?
I have it. It's on my sheet right now.
Okay, so I just turn to you and say, be ready, be ready.
Remember,
Bringing drinks.
I say remember, Sir Yvain shot first.
I'm gonna do my best to appear not to be completely freaking out.
Okay.
At the
Give
arrival of
us.
these two.
Why don't you give us a deception roll? Let's see how well Bargle's holding it together.
Here we go. Not great.
Not great. Morn and Elenil, as you're making your way over, Zuko and so the little goblin and the halfling, they don't seem to be, I think they're aware of you approaching, which doesn't surprise you. Adventurers that seasoned and that experienced, ones who have made it to the Barrowmaze and back, no doubt have, a great deal of competence, and they would keep themselves aware of the situation. The wizard, on the other hand, looks like someone is stalking him. He has the wild-eyed look of a cornered animal, and seems to be insisting to the other two smaller companions to be cool, be cool. So as you guys walk up to the table, this is what you see: is all three of these sitting figures are looking up at you guys. What do you say?
Hey, are you the lucky goblin? Because if so, I think we've got a drink for you.
Yes.
And then
Yes, now.
the halfling ranger.
What
friend?
Zuko, I think, does is he asks, and then Zuko looks very carefully and deliberately over at his colleagues, and then looks back and says,
Yes.
"Yes." So, it's clear that he's not, but it seems like there's something more going on here. Bargle, Zuko, and Buka, remember that you guys know that Badonk is known as the Lucky Goblin, so...
Yeah.
Okay, well, if they
It works perfectly.
I know Zico is not, right? So
Yeah, oh yeah, definitely.
I'm gonna say, friends. While it is probably assumed that all goblins look alike, they do not. It is our companion Badonk, who is still in Helix, who is the lucky goblin. But
Yeah,
his luck extends to all of his companions. What can we do for you?
I don't know if I buy that.
I haven't heard about the lucky goblin, but I haven't heard that. But that sounds worth a drink anyway. And I'll just kind of slide them over, and it's like we're sellswords looking to hit the Barrowmaze when the snows are gone.
I told you, sell swords doesn't work. I can carry them all. There. Yeah, sell swords.
Still malls.
No one sells malls.
Oh, that's probably gotta find a new name.
I kind of say, like, very cryptically, well, not so cryptically, the way of the Barrowmore lies death. Are you sure you're brave enough? This is from a squeaky little halfling, mind.
They look brave enough to me. And by the way, it's about to close, so I would head there as soon as possible.
Like the Barrowmore?
Right, there's a sale on Barrows.
Yeah.
Well, you don't want to go in the middle of the winter. That's all I have to say. But you're not far. You're just a day's journey away. Thanks for coming by.
Are these people like in between us and the door?
No, I mean, I think Bargle, from the sounds of things, Bargle's probably set himself so he's got. Oh no, actually, maybe they are blocking your way because Bargle, I imagine, has got himself.
He just wanted to be facing any exit, whichever way that is.
Sure. Yeah, so you can be facing like you can see right.
I invite them to sit down. I mean, they seem harmless enough. Right? Elves like dance and frolic in the woods. They can't be harmful.
She has a big maul.
That's what they want you to think.
She does have a big maul.
She's wearing scale armor and is carrying a hammer that's as big as a halfling.
But considering that neither Zuko or myself or Bargle are fighters, armor in front of us is a good thing. So I invite them to sit.
Yeah.
Well,
I look at Bargle. I go, "Hey."
Invitation from one of them is good enough for Morn, so he's gonna Riker his way over the top of a chair and plunk himself down.
It's Riker his way over. That's great.
Nice.
Okay, so he sits down, and the shoulders askew as well.
Nice.
So Buka shrugs his shoulders and puts the hand crossbow on the table.
Okay.
No offense. We just are a little wary.
Yeah.
And do Elenil and Morn look like, worse for wear, or what's, do they look rough and tumble to me, like, or to anybody? But do they, what's their kind of like vibe?
It sounds like they're down to like the last 2 coppers to rub together kind of situation.
So yeah, this is not good. Okay, so Bargle, so you guys brought a drink over for everybody, is that right? So Bargle will kind of slide his over, and he's gonna put it there and basically not drink it until they notice, and then if they do, I'll pretend that I'm drinking it.
Okay.
Zuko just drinks his.
You're not thirsty there, Burgle?
He purposely does not correct him. Everything's good. What? Nothing. What do you mean? What? What? What?
My friend bought you a drink and you pushed it away.
Yeah.
We're friends of the Lucky Goblin.
I can't drink.
Bargle has a vow of like no drinking. Right?
Yes, that's what it is.
Yeah.
So I drink for him. So I grab his.
No, I'll take it.
The three of us all reach.
You don't want it.
So you hear from what do you call it? From next to you, there's the big round hammock hard cheese. Says, boys, there's plenty to go around. Oh, forgive me, ma'am. I didn't see you there. We have plenty of drinks for everyone.
Well, this one's already paid for.
Well, you've spilled half of it by jostling it around. Delia, bring another one over. And so what brings you here, my friends? And an halfling joining. Always nice to see one of our own here. And one of the little goblin types. Not often we see your types in here. What brings you to the bloated halfling?
Tales of the Lucky Goblin.
Tales of the Lucky Goblin, eh? What's this Lucky Goblin of which you speak?
I don't know. Tales of him in Helix. I've met him, actually. He's kind of cool.
I see. Does that make you the unlucky goblin, then?
Well, lucky enough to survive weapon poison.
It makes which? Sorry, you guys cut each other off. What would you say, John?
I said, well, lucky enough to survive weapon poison, unlucky enough to get it.
And sorry, what did you say, Morn?
I said lucky enough to get a free drink.
Yes, free drink. 2 free. Well, 1 free drink. 1 free drink is enough. What are you here for?
Huh?
Dead sounds at the table.
Just passing through.
Yeah, we delivered stuff.
Chatty types, eh? And you hear
We're here looking for work till we can get to the Barrowmaze.
Oh, that's what you intend, eh? Serious types. Whew. Well,
Dead serious.
Dead serious is what I've heard. Yes.
I'd rather just be serious.
It is serious. So you hear then Hammock's wife kind of shouts at him like, "Leave him alone!" And he kind of like, "I'm all right. I was just chatting, woman." And he leaves and waddles his way over to the next table. Then starts this whole rigmarole over with a more chatty, group. So what happens next at our table, guys?
So, Barrow's sort of been taking everything in, and now it's going to turn to his new table mates. Why are you wanting to head into the Barrowmaze?
Heard there's coin to be had, treasure. We could use some of that. We'd heard about this lucky goblin and that he traveled with a wizard and a halfling. So
Interesting.
put those together and thought maybe if you knew something, you've been here longer than us, so maybe you knew where we could get some coin until the snows are done. Misunderstanding, but maybe you still know where we can get some coin.
And you're clearly not from these environs, not from Ironguard Mott for certain, or Helix, obviously. Where do you come from?
Wick, what was your character in Shen's campaign was from where?
In like the old high school game?
Yeah, the old high school game.
Helden Freeholds.
The Hellden Freehold. So the Northern Reaches are effectively where the Hellden Freeholds are right now. So whatever clan because it sounds like you got sort of a Celtic name anyway. If you want to make them from that same region, that is fine.
Sure.
Okay. So somewhere else in the Northern Reaches, from the sounds of things.
And actually, we didn't. I don't think we got your names.
Morn MacCor. This chatty fellow is Elenil.
I'm Zuko.
Well met, Zuko.
This is our friend Buka.
Yeah.
I am Buka.
And you?
Me?
Yeah, you.
He's a great wizard. Rub, 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 rub.
Some call me Bargle.
you hear from another table.
Can I
Did you
call
say
you
your
that?
name was Bargle?
Gargle. Gargle with some alcohol.
Very interesting that yes, you are right. We do travel with Badonk, the Lucky Goblin. Um, it is very perilous within the Barrowmoor. I must warn you. Do you think you're up to the task?
Seen a few scrapes. Sure, this
He's a,
could be more harrowing than others, but
Still here.
and what if I told you it was getting increasingly dangerous, and the forces of evil were taking root not only within the moor itself, but within the town of Helix? Would you be willing to fight not just for coin, but for the common good?
well, you know, eventually the common good can find you some coins. So depending on the circumstance.
So, and to be clear, everybody at my table, well, my companions know that this is not what Bargle does. He's just testing these guys to see, like, what their, where they stand.
Yeah, that's
So-
like more the Evane thing.
So what,
Yeah,
what,
yeah.
what do you mean for like helping the common good? Are you talking about going around and building homes for the homeless, or
No, I mean fighting the forces of evil that are threatening innocence,
Beating out evil, defeating them.
even if there winds up being no pay.
There's always usually
I
something.
definitely prefer when there's pay, but
yeah, or treasure?
No,
Or,
I fought for a cause or two in my time.
hasn't always worked out so well, but
No,
Zuko
Well-
turns over, you can't really expect much from sellswords or sellmalls. They're usually in it for the money.
Well, that's understandable, especially you seem like you're down on your luck.
Ouch.
Yeah. Bargle's decided that he's already let it be clear that he's paranoid, so now he's trying to make it look like he's totally got this situation under control. I don't know if he's pulling it off, but he's trying. We are not heading back to Helix right away. In fact, we're heading down to Bogtown, so we can give you the directions to Helix and some.
Won't we
Some-
need people in shiny metal to help us?
Well, this
don't take this the wrong way, friend, but it
yes.
doesn't seem like the lot of you have a lot of steel around you.
No, we are
Be
short.
entirely competent, but there are certainly problems that are best solved, with a shank of metal.
Yes, and with a sturdy shield.
I've
And,
got one of those too.
Yes, I see. We might be able to use some protection on our way down to Bogtown, and we're going there because we believe we can get some information about what is going on in the Barrowmoor that's making it more dangerous.
It's all tied together.
Yes. So I can definitely not guarantee coin to be had in Bogtown itself. Possible, but we will then be returning to Helix, and we would be happy to introduce you to the Lucky Goblin himself.
Well,
Morn and Elenil, give me a society check again, too. Let's just see what you've heard around these parts. Not for
Bogtown certainly sounds lovely.
Nat
Ooh.
20. So, it just so happens that when you had, when you had spoken to Bandrick Ironstone at the Silver, if they didn't make this name so long, it'd be easier to remember. The Silver Standard Merchant Caravan Company. So at the Silver, I'll call it the Silver Standard. When you spoke to Bandrick at the Silver Standard, one of the things he had mentioned was they were basically waiting for the time to have a caravan go down to Bogtown. So you could hire on, like, they were, the way he makes it, there's not, like a regular, mail run or whatever else. There's when someone he trusts is heading to Bogtown, they will send someone with it this time of year. In the summertime, there's people going back and forth. So, if these guys are heading to Bogtown, oh, fuck, maybe you could talk to, I think with a nat 20, you've got it, you made a good enough impression with Bandrick that he's agreed to kind of let you go along if you found someone to take the stuff with you. So maybe if these guys, I don't think that these guys are necessarily, on the up and up. But if this group of 3 who are adventurers who seem to be seeing some success, if they're going to go to Bogtown, maybe you can get Bandrick to pay you to go down there more.
All right.
Didn't we deliver some stuff to him?
You did, yeah.
We did.
So do you?
I think there's a way we can, we can definitely help you out with without the promise of any of your coin.
You guys can also remember that, like, hiring hirelings and henchmen in in the Barrowmaze is a regular expected thing, and in Helix itself, you go to the Osen's Mercenary Guild, and that's where they hire people to go out to the Barrowmoor. But this is the way you would normally do it. You normally we'd make a roll to see how many days it takes you to round up the henchmen going from tavern to tavern. What's going on right now is probably how this kind of thing goes about. So, in universe, it would not be unusual to be like, you know what, we don't have any fighters with us anyway. These are some good people. They seem eager to hire on. So fuck it, we'll toss them a couple coins and bring them along as henchmen.
What is the going rate for henchmen?
What's the going rate?
Yeah, what's the going rate for henchmen?
Henchman is...
Oh, had some coins.
Yeah.
Cheaper than a horse. Gosh, I don't know. I was listening to the last episode of these characters last time, and I'm like, we spent a lot of time talking about how much horses cost.
No, we did.
It makes for some gripping viewing, I'm sure.
Yeah, exactly. And then I just remember what the answers were either.
Yeah. Okay, so services. Skilled hireling is 5 silver pieces a day.
Okay.
How long will it take us to get to Bogtown?
It's 1 day.
I believe it's minimum 2-day charge, is it not, Kev?
Say again?
Isn't it a minimum 2-day charge?
Yeah, exactly, minimum 2. Yeah, it was. That's right. Standard Dutchy rules, right?
Yeah.
One gold piece.
1 gold piece each.
One gold piece. So I do, Buka and Zuko, I do have a gold piece.
I have 2 gold pieces. I'll offer 1.
Okay.
Okay.
Since you're in the market for employment, perhaps we can make an arrangement at the standard rate to accompany us to Bogtown. Would you be open to that?
And we can test your metal and see how you do, and then take you to Helix.
Yep. And the Barrowmoor after that.
Well, that's on the way, so yeah.
The Barrowmoor to Helix, like the long way.
I'm fine with a trip to Bogtown, Morn.
Yeah, let's do it.
We do have a couple errands to run here before we leave. But...
Yes.
We should take care of a couple of things as well.
Excellent. So we should leave at first light. Does that make sense to everyone?
Agreed.
What time of day is it?
I think it's late
it's
late
evening
afternoon
at
or
this point.
something.
We probably need to leave. We need to make an appointment, or we need to go to the right.
We do need to go there to try to find the seneschal. Yes.
Okay.
So so it would be too late to do that now. So yeah, so maybe maybe we'll say 2 hours after dawn we'll meet again here in the tavern.
Okay. Well, you know that Hammock and his staff are, they're obviously like Hammock, quite gregarious. So why don't one of the ways you can kind of get information in this is by spending some time in the exploration mode, chatting with people, using to gather information. So who do you think is the chattiest of Cathys here. Who has the best diplomacy check?
Well, Zuko is chatty by nature, but you
Yeah.
know, he's got an 18 charisma, so he's just flat out there. I got a 4.
You got
Yeah, I
4?
got
Sure.
a 0, so
So while they're talking, he'll walk around and just
Oh,
chat
but
people.
he's not trained in diplomacy?
No.
Oh,
not.
okay, I say +4. See, Wick, like we were talking about before, that's the big difference. Zuko's level 3 already,
Right.
and he's still only got a +4, even with an 18. Whereas if he was trained, he would have a +7, and then if he was he would have
more than that. Yeah.
a 9.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so like that's where once you start getting some levels, it really the training really outpaces the untrained.
Yeah, my next training skill will be diplomacy.
Oh, will it? Okay. Well, yeah, fuck it. Let's put that into action then. Give me a diplomacy check.
Okay, boom.
Okay.
Nice.
Damn good with 19.
Okay. So what do we see as he's sort of like who's he talking to? Who's he asking about to get some some information about this?
Well, he's gonna first walk up to the minstrel they have on hire because I'm good at music too.
Yep.
And see what he's heard about and who he might be able to point me towards and
Sure.
things like that.
So yeah, so I think you definitely make some friends. You get up there, and as you get towards the there's like a lute player. There's a flute player. There's someone who's playing some soft drums there. There's this nice ambient music playing, and as they walk up, the drummer kind of looks up and says, "Oh, I'm sorry, we don't know any goblin songs, because they." And I mean, that goblin music is distinctly different from halfling music and whatnot.
I know lots of goblin songs.
Yeah.
Let me teach you one.
Yeah. It's lots of percussion. It's lots of shouting. So the what do you
Lots
call
of
it?
bad rhyming.
Yes. If I had my copy of what do you call it? Burnt Offerings nearby, we could do the goblin song, but we unfortunately don't have the sheet music for that. So. So what?
Fortunately.
But I mean, I think that you are able to transition. Like, no, I'm not making requests. I want to,
Mm-hmm.
So how does Zuko direct the conversation here?
He compliments them on how well they're performing, and he's a aspiring bard himself. Still dedication, but mostly not.
Yeah.
And he plays the harmonica, and he sings.
Nice.
And he wants to see if he could join with him tonight to get a feel for playing in a group, but wanted to see what they've heard around town about things and
Sure.
kind of pick up on what the big crowd misses.
Yeah. I think a roll that good, like you definitely left a really good impression on them. So you maybe you play for a little bit with them, and then when they take a break and they're having their drinks, you can chat. And if you let them know that what you're intending to do is to meet with the Duke. What he tells you is like, well, this time of year, the Duke only sees people, a certain, once a week. And that's 3 days from now. Yeah.
Just have to hit him on the way back then.
Back?
Yep.
Where are you heading?
Oh, here and there. We've got some errands to run. Big things are happening in Bogtown.
Oh. Yeah, I've, I wouldn't send my worst enemy to Bogtown.
Really? What have you heard?
Just idle speculation, but we hear that that town is supposed to be under the purview of the Duke, but from what I hear, it's more the shadow hands that run things there.
Wow. So I reach in my bag and I pull out this nice bottle of Galantrian wine. I'm like, tell me more.
Oh, as you pour out, yeah. So what that's the extent of. They've just heard that the place is sort of a hive of scum and villainy. It's thieves that run that place. It's the reprobates and the outcasts that couldn't hire on to be either mercenaries or hirelings or torchbearers or adventurers who wanted to head out into the Barrowmaze. It's the ones that are just too extreme even for that. That's where they find themselves, is in Bogtown.
So what Zuko is getting is acceptable casualties.
It's it's definitely a dangerous place. It's a place where you're going to watch your purse, you're going to watch your back.
Watch your horse. Okay. That sounds like good info. I thank them, and then I give them 5 silver tip for
Whoa.
their information.
Very generous. Very, very generous. When you're back in town, you'll be happy to sit in with us anytime.
Nice. I'll teach you a goblin song next time.
So absolutely, with that, they've definitely come around on you. They're more than happy to if they may have actually been fibbing about it. Maybe they do know a goblin song. So we kind of end with you guys playing this high energy thing that features quite the harmonica solo. With a little goblin wah, playing away.
Wah, 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 wah. Imagine it's as bad as what the seagull singing in The Little Mermaid during the lagoon scene.
Yeah. What about the rest of you guys? Anything else happen with you guys this evening?
We're probably going to try to get to over standard and arrange the mail drop off.
Okay.
Now that we've got a crew going there.
Sure.
They paid us a little bit of coin, but why not try to get some more coin?
Do you happen to mention that to the rest of the guys, or is that sort of like your own side hustle that you're planning?
I feel like it would be a side hustle.
Got it. Okay. Yeah. Okay. So then that what you'll do with that first thing tomorrow. What about Buka and Bargle? What are you guys thinking?
Bargle is going to. He doesn't want to be out on the streets at night, so he's gonna get his room and he's gonna literally search it high and low for any kind of anything out of the ordinary. He'll use his arcane sense, which is his at-will detect magic, to see if there's anything problematic about this room. He'll check out the window to see if people climb up. He's assessing all the possible potential issues he could have.
That's awesome.
Are we have we got our own rooms? Are we?
Up to you guys. How much are we going to spend? I mean, for Buka, I mean, there's definitely. You grew up as a slave anyway, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. So that that you probably didn't grow up as a in a hin hole anyway. So you guys can share a common room if you like. Bargle might actually insist on that anyway.
Yes. Yeah. I just say I don't have the money to help get my own room, so I need.
Okay.
That sounds cool.
So Abuka, you're sitting back and maybe you chit chat with there's a cute waitress or waiter that kind of chats with you a little bit, and Elenil and Morn. I guess what are you guys doing? Are either of you really would you be chatty, kind of getting to know you types with Buka and Bargle, or?
I think Morn would be.
Okay.
I feel like he's probably a little bit friendlier than Elenil.
Okay.
She takes a little bit of time to warm up to people.
Yeah.
Elves are cold.
And Bargle is kind of I'm not game mechanically inciting what's up with them, but just from the context of the conversation, he seems to have relaxed. At least I think probably Buka and Zuko for sure noticed that he sort of went down one level.
Yep.
And what's going through his mind is that he's scheming I can make these guys my personal bodyguard somehow, because I might need it, especially going back to Bogtown. So now he's kind of flipped, and now he's going to try to, sort of befriend these people. So not only do they feel like they, are going to make some money, but but Bargle's such a nice guy. We make sure he doesn't get killed. So he's going to hang out with them.
First off, awesome role playing from everybody. Everyone gets a hero point. And Bargle, go ahead and give me a diplomacy check. Let's see how charming you are.
Yeah. Here we go.
I mean, it's not
Point Kev, or?
yeah, everyone gets 1 point. So you all started with 1. Sorry, Wick and Elenil, your tokens. Oh yeah, you can do it in your character sheet.
I changed my picture, Kev, just so you know.
Oh, did you? Okay, hold up.
I found one that had a big maul in it instead of 2 swords.
Okay, let's see. Come on, computer. Oh, that is really cool. Here, guys, this is what Elenil.
Oh, nice. Oh, wow, that's great.
Nice.
Okay.
She's even wearing brigandine armor, so that's pretty close.
Yeah, that's perfect.
Okay.
Nice.
I will update her token if it is needed.
Yeah, so I definitely, seeing that, I definitely are going to try to talk more than to Ellen.
Yeah, I imagine this is the leveled up version of the character who's got money to burn for spiked armor, Take away the fancy spikes and the
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, still intimidating.
So as you guys are, you're all kind of chatting. Bargle, what is your perception bonus?
My bonus, I think, is 9. Let me go check. 9.
Sorry, 9?
Yeah.
Okay, I said none. I'm like, uh-oh.
Oh, no, yeah, that would be really bad. No, it's 9.
Okay.
He needs to be perceptive.
So Bargle, you're sitting there. You're trying to, you're chatting with Morn and with Elenil, and you're being like really gregarious. And Morn and Elenil, you can tell this is a completely different person than who is, sitting down. And as you're sitting there, Bargle, you kind of spot out of the corner of your eye there is a little kid who's kind of a human making his way through the, through the crowd, and this kid clearly has taken at least 5 levels in the urchin class, because he's thin, he's got dirt on his face and whatnot too, and he's clutched. The kid looks like he's maybe about 5 or 6 years old, so he's not even very old, and it's way past this where this kid should be running around a tavern. And this kid runs directly up towards you. And so you can see him as he comes running up on approach, gets up with this little kind of piece of paper in his hand, and he's got these eerie kind of pale green eyes. He runs up towards you, looking directly at you, and you realize that he's making a beeline for you. Once he gets up to you, he stops and holds out for you to take this piece of paper. And those of the rest of you who are at the table, Zuko, I think you're playing. What's your perception bonus?
Zuko,
yeah.
5.
I rolled a nat 1 for you. This is in the mid harmonica solo. Wah! So this kid walks up and he's just holding out this piece of paper and looking at you in that really overly serious kind of way that kids can have sometimes. Mm-hmm. And he's just holding it out, waiting for you to take it.
And does he look scared at all, or he just looks intense?
Not even a little.
Okay. So, what is that, boy? He just holds it.
Yeah.
Put it on the table.
Holding
it.
Just
keeps holding it. Okay. So, he's afraid to touch anything. He looks for any kind of cloth. I mean, obviously there's not napkins and place settings at these kind of places, so he's just looking for any kind of cloth, probably, and he can't find any.
One of the little waitresses, one of the waitresses goes by, and you yank one of her, give me a thievery check. Let's see if she notices.
Okay. Not terrible at this.
Yeah, so she doesn't even break a strike. You get it, and you can put it in your hand.
I'd use that because I'm afraid the thing might be poisoned. I don't know, so I'll take it, and then I stare back at the kid and I give him the intent.
As you put your hand down on it, this kid's hand comes down on top of yours faster than you can really move, and then you quickly immediately pull it away, and you look down, and his little hand has left a black handprint on the top of your hand.
Okay.
And you kind of look down. Now, I want to make sure well, actually, hold on. I'll grab the oversized novelty.
Yeah.
What's your fortitude save again?
Black spot.
My fortitude save is 38. Oh, sorry. Just 8.
An 8? Okay.
Yeah.
Hey.
Bargle. You look down at this thing on your hand. What is it you're thinking? What runs through your mind right now?
I'm I literally, in my mind, the other voice in my mind is saying, "You fucking idiot."
Okay. Elenil, would you kindly give me an underworld lore check? You know what this is, Bargle. Oh, that's not going to be a success. Did you want to spend a hero point?
Yeah, I'll use one of those hero points.
Yeah. Okay. Okay. So you recognize that mark. You look down and you look at Bargle and you look at this kid. That's a mark of the Shadow Hands. It's effectively kind of like, you know, a black rose showing up, or a wrapped fish showing up, you know, in the mail. This is something. So, and you look at Bargle, and what is that like? What are you thinking? Knowing that Bargle's now been marked by the Shadow Hands, what does that do in your mind?
Right now, she's wondering if this is even a good idea to be associated with them, and maybe we should latch on to the next group of people who thinks they know the Lucky Goblin. She's like,
Bargle, Bargle, you sort of like panic, look at the hand, look at the kid, look at your colleagues around the table. The kid then turns and again just starts scampering through, not sprinting, just slowly kind of trotting through the rest of the tavern to make his way out. What's going through your mind, Bargle?
Lots of things, but so far not any weapons, so that's good. Are going through his brain. So he's gonna do a cantrip, which is Tanglefoot, to try to stop this kid from getting out.
You would absolutely do that. You don't even have to roll. Okay. Yeah,
so
the things break up from the ground. What does it look like as you cast it?
I'm still seated because I'm trying to do this as fast as possible.
Yep.
But so he kind of like makes these kind of writhing motions with his hand, and you see it duplicating those motions are these kind of kind of vines breaking through the floor, like of the wooden floor of the tavern, and kind of shooting up and wrapping around his legs, just like my hands were moving, and hold them in place.
Okay. Wow. Oh, you can hear the guests are kind of like, you know, there's a screeching of chairs on the ground as they're pushing back. The kid's, you know, caught, and he looks around, and he looks like furious with you, but he's held fast in place. Buka and Buka and Elenil and Morn, you see this happen as well too. And Bargle has both a bar rag and a folded piece of paper in one hand, and he's cast the other thing.
You might want to let him go. You might want to ask him questions. Do you know what that is on your hand?
Unfortunately I do. I do not why I've been targeted, but
it also means that Elenil knows what it is too. Then,
what does the note say?
We shall find out momentarily. I want to know who sent this child.
Like, he's probably just a runner, but sure.
So I will wait till everybody does whatever they want to do, but ultimately my plan is to go after this kid.
At that point, I think is probably when Hammock kind of comes over. It's like, all right, we've no need for trouble here. What's going on here now? What's this young man done to you?
And I show him the mark.
And let me see here.
I realize that I have to go like all the other way, like
so you show the mark, and
crazy thing happened.
All that jovial whatever from that Hammock's been showing all night, that this doughy guy, he looks and it all kind of melts, and you hear like the music kind of stops, and Zuko, you're like, what's happening? He looks, he says, I don't want any of that trouble here. I'll thank you to leave.
Well, it has nothing to do with me. This some random kid came off the street.
So it's none of my concern. I'll thank you to leave. In fact, all of you. I'll thank you all to leave. We don't want any trouble here.
It was our money back then.
We
paid.
He paid the. Well, you wouldn't have paid for the room yet. So.
Well, now I know what this establishment is like. You treat people who are
cowards, afraid of in the hand. Blah blah blah.
Yeah, innocent people are not safe in your establishment. Good day.
Really? I said good day.
Okay.
And I'm like obviously deceptive. I mean, this is all lies.
As rotund as you are and jovial as you are, I'm very disappointed. Our kinsman would be extremely disappointed that you are intimidated by a black hand.
Yes, and your opinion... actually, he doesn't say anything. I don't think he doesn't chirp back. He just lets you talk and just kind of keeps gesturing to the door. And it's dead silent in here now. Zuko, you still left on a really, really good terms with the players. And Eleanor and Morn, you're kind of like, ain't my problem, but he looks at you guys too. You're lumped in with them.
Yeah, Eleanor nods because she understands what's happening and why he's doing this, and says, hopefully we can return someday after we resolve this.
He looks and yeah. I mean, I think he just kind of looks this like as if like he knows what that mark means. You're not likely to be around long enough to worry about coming back again. Morn, this is obviously very confusing for you.
Nobody tells me nothing, but
Nice.
sorry.
But if you look over, I mean, it sounds like Eleanor does know what's going on. So
Eleanor will lean into Morn and whisper what's going on.
So what does she say?
She's like, the wizard's just been marked by the local thieves guild, and the proprietor has no desire for us to be around when the Shadow Hands show up.
Shadow Hand. I heard about those guys.
I'll slap Elenel on the back, and I'll just say, "We know how to pick them, don't we?"
Yeah.
Nice.
Feels like history repeating itself.
I have no idea what's going on.
So you all stand up. Buka keeps chirping off, at the halflings as he's making his way towards the exit. The kid, what are you going to do with him? Like, you could.
Well, I'm gonna make it seem like I forgot about the kid in this conversation I was having with the proprietor, and so I let the spell sort of go,
okay.
So that he can get out of there. Because I'm trying to undo this. Not undo. I'm trying to sort of suppress it may be becoming worse.
Okay. So
Damage control not working.
Yeah. Sure.
Eleanor leans into Bargle. She's got her hand on her maul. She just kind of uses it for weight so she doesn't fall too far over the table. And she goes, "I'm not going to prison for you." And she leans back.
Well, that's a good way to treat innocent people. What does Bargle think it means? Is that mark meant for other people to think that the person who's marked has done something wrong, or just mean that person is marked for death?
It's a mark of death. It's a way of publicly marking that person.
Yeah.
For that the Shadow Hands have marked them as an enemy, and that they will,
Yeah.
There's really only one price that they take, and that's
okay.
Yeah.
Cool. So I say like. Okay, Carl.
Where they have a wooden building that they hang out at.
They're the Black Dragon. But Bargo says to Eleanor, I'm an enemy of the Shadow Hands, so that should say something good about me. But
Are we outside yet?
Yeah.
So I'm definitely
Yeah, Zuko says, I heard a whole bunch about those guys down there, all over in Bogtown.
Yes, I've heard the same.
Yeah.
And I say, I think my friends Buka and Zuko can speak for my actions in the recent past in saving the lives of some innocent townsfolk in Helix.
So you're all outside right now, and of course it's chilly here. It's not quite like the ice fog that comes in the evenings in Helix doesn't come in, but it's still, winter and cold.
Well, I guess if we got turned out of the inn, let's go up to the Bailey and present ourselves to the Duke. Might as well.
But he only meets with people every once a week.
They certainly don't do it at night.
Yeah, well, just to be clear, I'm going to try to cover up this mark so people aren't going to see it. And B, there is another inn that we heard about called the Leaky Barrel.
Yeah.
That's an option that we could try to go to for overnight. But I will do everything I can to sort of disguise or hide the mark anyway, as much as I can, so no one else.
Why don't Zuko, you can use fire, right?
Zuko is a master manipulator of fire.
I got some fire. Let's just burn down the Black Dragon.
But that would put us in jail.
No, it would just, take it to the people who are.
The Shadow Hands are, unfortunately, a very serious organization with tendrils going everywhere. So I think maybe that shouldn't be our first move.
Yeah.
But do I know, Kev, does Bargle know, I'm assuming that the mark is not removable by any means that I might have access to.
You're not sure yet. You haven't tried,
Okay.
you know.
Okay, so I'm going to try to just hide it for now, find a place to go where everybody else wants to go.
What is the
barrel or wherever.
Maybe cover up both of your hands if they typically only mark somebody on the right.
Yeah, smart idea.
They throw them off.
I like you already.
Is it the black color?
What was on the note?
If you look at it, it's actually like you can picture as if it had transformed that blackened thing into like a scar. Like it feels like different skin, even at this point. It's a.
Is it like just like a raised scar? Is it colored at all? Is it like black?
Yeah.
Okay, but like, why don't you just like stain your hands black with some ink for a while, and then they can't tell if it's on there.
That may be a solution, but I think in the meantime, Eleanor had a good question. What does this note say? So I'll unravel the scroll. In fact, I'm going to use what I should have done before, which is my Mage Hand cantrip.
Wondering about that if you're going to use Mage Hand.
This is what happens when you get super paranoid. You make mistakes. So I'll have the Mage Hand open it for me.
Okay, so you, standing in the cold, you gesture, and then this note kind of flaps up and it unfolds. And it says one simple sentence, and it has two initials on it.
Okay.
The simple sentence is, "See you soon." And the initials are B and G. And you know precisely who B and G are, Bargle.
Yeah.
Because they were the ones who forced you to flee town, and they are quite respected members, or at least powerful members of the Shadow Hands. So you sort of swallow hard, and you look around as if you can feel the eyes somewhere off in the darkness looking at you.
I shiver, but not from the cold.
Okay. So Buka, as you all sort of start making your way towards the leaky barrel, Buka is still saying, "I'm sure we can burn this thing down. We can."
I like where your mind's at.
Morn and Elenil, I think it speaks to your circumstances that you're going along with this on the promise of a payday. But Elenil, what do you think? Like, what are you thinking now? Now knowing that this wizard. He does seem to be genuinely freaked out by this, although I suppose anyone with a mark of death from the Shadow Hands would likely be in the same boat.
Well, on one hand, I'm not going to prison for you. I'm not. If this goes poorly, I'm going to rat your ass out, and I'm not going to prison. But the whole scenario with like another wizard and another dilemma, another problem, it's just like, maybe this is a chance to make right on what we messed up in the past.
Okay. Cool. And what about Morn? What is Morn thinking about this turn or development of his fortunes?
Well, it's not ideal. And
it's like, I think tourist T-shirts for the Barrowmaze. That's really what they say on them. It's not ideal.
Why the hell did I come here?
He probably occasionally is muttering wizards and shaking his head, but Bargle seems a better sort than the one that got him into this mess in the first place. So for now, he's going to see how it goes, because they're not in prison yet, and they're already a gold piece richer than this morning.
There you go. That is the way to think of it. So maybe that's what we see. The way we end with the three, Zuko and Buka and Bargle start heading off in the direction of the leaky barrel. Elenil is following along. The last person we see, look back at the bloated halfling, flips a gold coin, catches it, and then starts following along after the departing heroes. And that's where I know we spent the first half of the session, or first 45 minutes or so, creating characters. So I know it's a short episode for those listening at home, but that's where we'll wrap things up, and we'll see what happens with our heroes in the Mott next week. So for those listening at home, as always, if you have any comments, questions, or concerns regarding the session, please don't hesitate to leave a comment in the comment section below, or you can also reach me on Twitter. My Twitter handle is Dungeon Musings. And you can also shoot me an email. My email address is dungeonmusings@gmail.com. And you can also join us on the Dungeon Musings Discord server. If you look in the description of the video, we have a link to our new Discord server. So you can find most of the, I think actually all the players in all of our campaigns are on there. I'm on there quite a bit. And we've also got... if you are interested in playing in a one-shot with me, I've also got a Looking for Group channel that we've started. The session that is currently scheduled for the end of the month is almost full already, but there is still a spot left, and then I will be scheduling for the next one for for October, November, December. We're doing a one-shot that's an open table for people who are not playing in our campaign. That's how you get in touch with us and how you find a spot playing in that game. In addition, you may notice there's something in a link to something called Heroes Save Villages in the description of the video. That is the charity fundraising campaign that we run on the channel. We don't monetize the channel in any way. We don't run ads. We don't run Patreon. So if you are inclined to toss a shiny gold piece, as our brave heroes did to their new hirelings, in the direction of the channel, I'd encourage you to click through and learn a little more about the Heroes Save Villages campaign. It's a really terrific it benefits, I should say, it's the SOS Children's Villages International Charity, a really terrific organization that is active in over 130 countries, providing support and benefits and a stable living environment for over 80,000 orphan and abandoned children from around the world. So it's you can learn all about the different initiatives that SOS Children's Villages International is involved in, and any money donated goes directly to help them with their doing their very, very good work that they do. I don't want anyone to feel obligated, of course, but if you are inclined to toss any coins in our direction, that's what the direction I would encourage you to consider tossing them. Last but not least, I want to thank my players. I want to thank Chad. I want to thank Dave. I want to thank Jonathan. I want to thank George. And I want to thank Carl. And the way I'll say thank you is that those of you who are not first level, you gain 50 XP. And those of you who are first level, you gain 100 XP.
Nice.
Because nothing says thank you like XP. So thank you guys. This has been I know that this was a lot of chatting introduction stuff, but this kind of like table setting session is necessary to set up all of our supporting characters. And I think everyone has a supporting character now except for Steve. I'll have to double check, but I mean, looking at our roster now, our roster of heroes is pretty extensive.
It's true.
So, then, again, for those listening at home, thank you so much for joining us. Yeah, I'm sorry, Modlid said a good session. I wish it was longer. My apologies for the shorter session. Friday night will be a 4-hour session, and it's Friday the 13th. So I'm sure that will be...
I can't make it.
Good. But until next time, again, thanks so much for playing, guys. Thanks so much for those listening at home for joining us. And until next time, happy gaming.